Here's something most mechanics won't tell you. The average car today is built to last well over 200,000 miles, but most die before they hit 150,000. Why? Because owners treat maintenance like a suggestion instead of a requirement. In this video, I'm going to show you 13 habits that separate cars that make it to 500,000 miles from those that die young. Some of these will surprise you, especially number 9, which most drivers get dangerously wrong. Stick around because I'll share a simple tracking method at the end that costs nothing, but can prevent every major breakdown before it happens. Habit number 1, change oil. Every 5,000 miles, period. Your owner's manual might say 10,000 miles between oil changes. Ignore it. Those extended intervals exist to make the car look cheaper to own during the warranty period. After that warranty expires, you're the one paying for the damage. Modern full synthetic oil is excellent, but it's not magic. After 5,000 miles in real-world conditions, traffic, short trips, temperature swings, that oil is breaking down. I've torn apart engines that followed the 10,000-mile interval religiously. The valve train looks like it's coated in burnt caramel. There's oil sludge, and it chokes off lubrication to critical parts. The repair bill for sludge damage starts around $3,500 and goes up fast. Every mechanic I know who drives high-mileage cars changes oil at 5,000 miles or 6 months. It's not overkill, it's insurance. Habit number 2, never skip transmission. Fluid changes. Most people never think about transmission fluid until the transmission starts slipping. By that point, you're not fixing anything. You're replacing the whole unit for $4,000 to $6,000. Transmission fluid breaks down slowly and quietly. It still looks red and clean at 80,000 miles, but under a microscope, it's full of metal particles and clutch material grinding away at your gears. The smart move is a drain and fill every 60,000 miles. Not a flush, just a drain and fill. If your transmission has never been serviced and it's past 100,000 miles, leave it alone. A flush at that point can dislodge debris that's actually holding things together. And here's the critical part. Always use the exact fluid. Your manufacturer specifies Toyota transmissions need Toyota WS fluid. Honda needs their specific ATF. Generic fluid might save you $20, but it'll cost you a transmission. I've seen it happen dozens of times. Habit number 3, coolant flush every 50,000 miles. Coolant doesn't last forever, even though most drivers treat it that way. After about 5 years or 50,000 miles, coolant turns acidic. Once that happens, it stops protecting and starts corroding. Water pumps rot out. Heater cores clog. Radiators develop pinhole leaks. Worst case, you get head gasket failure, which is a $2,000 nightmare. If you're seeing white smoke from the exhaust, losing coolant with no visible leak, or your engine runs hotter than normal, your coolant has already gone bad. The solution is simple. Drain and refill every 50,000 miles with the correct coolant type. Pink, orange, green, they're not interchangeable. Mixing them creates a chemical reaction that turns into gel. Use what your car came with from the factory. A gallon of coolant costs $25. A new engine costs $8,000. Do the math. Habit number 4, replace timing belts at 60,000 miles. Timing belts are one of those components people forget about until it's too late. If your car has a timing belt instead of a chain, you need to replace it every 60,000 to 100,000 miles, depending on the manufacturer. Most mechanics recommend doing it at 60,000 just to be safe. Here's why this matters. When a timing belt snaps, the pistons keep moving, but the valves stop. In an interference engine, which most modern cars have, the pistons slam into the valves at full speed. You're looking at bent valves, damaged pistons, and a repair bill between $3,000 and $7,000. Timing belts rarely give warning. No noise, no vibration, they just break. And if you're on the highway when it happens, you're getting towed. When you replace the belt, do the water pump at the same time. It's right there, and the labor is already done. A water pump costs $80. Doing it separately later adds $400 in labor. Habit number 5, replace spark plugs every 60,000 miles. Worn spark plugs kill fuel economy and engine performance, but most people drive on them until the check engine light comes on. Bad spark plugs cause weak combustion, which means you're burning more gas for less power. Some studies show fuel economy drops by up to 30% with severely worn plugs. Most cars need new plugs every 60,000 to 100,000 miles. Depending on the type, iridium plugs last longer than copper, but they all wear out eventually. Signs you need new plugs include rough idle, hesitation during acceleration, or the engine feels weak when you press the gas. If you pull a plug and see oil or coolant on the threads, that's a bigger problem. Oil means valve cover gaskets are leaking. Coolant means you might have a head gasket issue. Replacing plugs is straightforward on most cars. Budget $150 to $300 for parts and labor if you're not doing it yourself. While you're in there, check the ignition coils too. They fail just as often as plugs. Habit number 6, change your fuel filter every 30,000 miles. The fuel filter is one of the most overlooked maintenance items, and that's a mistake. Over time, rust, dirt, and debris from your gas tank collect in the filter. The more it clogs, the harder your fuel pump has to work. Eventually, the pump burns out. A clogged fuel filter costs $40 to replace. A new fuel pump costs $600 to $1,200 installed. Most manufacturers recommend changing the filter every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. Older cars with external filters should be closer to 30,000. Newer cars with in-tank filters can go longer, sometimes up to 100,000 miles, but I wouldn't push it. Before you change the filter, relieve the fuel system pressure. Pull the fuel pump fuse and let the engine run until it dies. This prevents gasoline from spraying everywhere when you disconnect the lines and work in a well-ventilated area. Gasoline fumes are no joke. Habit number 7, flush brake fluid every 3 years. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture from the air. Over time, that moisture lowers the fluid's boiling point. Fresh DOT3 fluid boils at around 400 degrees. After 3 years of absorbing moisture, it can drop to 280 degrees or lower. Why does that matter? When you're driving down a mountain or stuck in stop and go traffic, your brakes get hot. If the fluid boils, air bubbles form in the lines. When you press the brake pedal, you're compressing air instead of fluid. Your stopping distance increases, or in the worst case, the brakes fail completely. Flushing brake fluid every 2 to 3 years prevents this. You can test your brake fluid with a simple moisture tester that costs about $20. If the moisture level is above 3%, it's time to flush. Fresh brake fluid also prevents corrosion inside the brake lines and calipers, which saves you from expensive repairs down the road. Habit number 8, service your differential every 50,000 miles. If you drive a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle, you have a differential. It transfers power from the engine to the wheels and allows them to turn at different speeds. The oil inside the differential works under extreme pressure and heat. After 50,000 miles, it breaks down and gets contaminated with metal shavings. Most people never touch their differential until something breaks. By then, you're replacing the entire unit for $1,500 to $3,000. Changing differential fluid is straightforward. Locate the differential housing under your car, drain the old fluid, and refill with the manufacturer-specified gear oil. If you have a transfer case on a four-wheel drive vehicle, service that every 50,000 miles too. The first time you do this, have a mechanic walk you through it. After that, it's easy to handle on your own. Habit number 9, clean your mass. Airflow sensor. Your mass airflow sensor, or MAF, measures how much air enters the engine so the computer can adjust fuel delivery. When the sensor gets dirty, it sends incorrect readings. The engine runs rich or lean, you lose power, fuel economy drops, and the check engine light comes on. Most people replace the MAF sensor when it acts up. That's a $200 to $400 mistake. Before replacing anything, clean it. You can buy MAF sensor cleaner for $8 at any auto parts store. Remove the sensor from the intake tube, spray the delicate sensing wires, let it dry, and reinstall. Do not use brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, or WD-40. Those products leave residue that damages the sensor. A clean MAF sensor restores engine performance instantly. If cleaning doesn't fix the problem, then replace it. But 80% of the time, cleaning is all it takes. Habit number 10, replace your PCV valve every 50,000 miles. The PCV valve vents pressure from inside your engine to prevent oil leaks and reduce emissions. When it clogs or sticks, pressure builds up and blows out gaskets and seals. I've seen engines lose a quart of oil every 1,000 miles because of a stuck PCV valve. The valve itself costs $10 to $20 and takes 5 minutes to replace. It's usually located near the valve cover or in the oil filler tube. Twist it counterclockwise to remove, twist the new one in clockwise, and you're done. While you're at it, check the hose connected to the valve. If it's cracked or brittle, replace it. A fresh PCV valve reduces oil consumption, prevents leaks, and keeps your engine running clean. For a $15 part, there's no reason to skip this. Habit number 11. Get a wheel alignment. Every 15,000 miles, misaligned wheels wear out tires prematurely and hurt fuel economy. If your tires wear unevenly on the inside or outside edges, your alignment is off. If the car pulls to one side when you're driving straight, or the steering wheel sits crooked, same problem. Ignoring alignment issues can shorten tire life by 30% and reduce fuel economy by up to 10%. New tires cost $600 to $1,200 for a set, and alignment costs $75 to $100. Get the alignment done every 15,000 miles, or anytime you hit a pothole hard enough to feel it in the steering wheel. This is one job you can't do yourself. It requires specialized equipment that measures and adjusts the suspension angles, but it's worth every penny. Habit number 12. Let your engine warm up before driving. Hard. Cold engines need time to get oil circulating. When you start your car, the oil is thick and sitting at the bottom of the pan. It takes 30 to 60 seconds for oil to reach the top end of the engine and coat all the moving parts. If you rev the engine hard before that happens, metal grinds against metal with minimal lubrication. That wears down pistons, camshafts, and bearings faster than anything else. Start your car and let it idle for 30 seconds. Then drive gently and keep your RPMs under 3,000 until the temperature gauge starts moving. Some cars have a blue coolant light that stays on until the engine reaches operating temperature. Wait for that light to turn off before you push the engine. This is especially important for turbocharged engines. Turbochargers spin at over 100,000 RPM and rely entirely on oil for cooling and lubrication. Cold revving a turbo engine is one of the fastest ways to destroy it. Habit number 13. Wash the undercarriage every season. Road salt, mud, and grime build up under your car and accelerate rust. Salt is the worst offender. It eats through metal and weakens brake lines, suspension components, exhaust pipes, and the frame itself. In snowy climates, rust can compromise these parts in just a couple of years. If you live in an area that salts the roads in winter, wash your undercarriage at least once a month during that season. If you're near the ocean, salty air does similar damage year-round. Most car washes offer an undercarriage spray option. Use it. A rusty frame or rotted brake lines aren't just expensive to fix, they're dangerous. Bonus tip: keep a maintenance log. The one habit that separates cars that make it to 500,000 miles from those that don't is record keeping. Every time you change oil, rotate tires, replace a part, write it down. Keep the date, mileage, and what you did. A simple notebook or a phone app works fine. Why does this matter? When problems show up, a maintenance log helps you spot patterns. If you're adding a quart of oil every 2,000 miles, that's a red flag. If tires wear unevenly after 5,000 miles, you know to check. Alignment mechanics and dealerships respect owners who keep good records. They're less likely to recommend unnecessary services when they can see you've been on top of maintenance. And when it's time to sell, a documented service history adds real value. Buyers trust cars with records. If you want your car to last 500,000 miles, these 13 habits aren't optional. They're requirements. Skip them and you'll be shopping for a new car in a few years. Follow them and your car will outlast your payments by a decade. What's your current mileage? And which of these habits have you been neglecting? Drop a comment below. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, where I'll show you the single biggest mistake that kills engines before 200,000 miles.